Welcome, José Martinez and Marie Dali. José, you are the choreographer of this new production of Le Corsaire here at the Royal Swedish Ballet, and it's the first time you're here in Stockholm and Sweden.
It's almost the first time. I was here 2 years ago working with the school of the Royal Swedish. I did a small choreography for the school performance, but it's the first time that I'm working with the company.
Yeah, great. We are so happy to have you here. And you have had a great career as a dancer, mainly at the Opera de Paris, the ballet company there, and now you are artistic director of the same company. Yes, so you.
Yes,
it's a lot.
A big responsibility.
Yes.
You know, it's not the same to be a ballet dancer and to be the director of the company. It's 154 dancers and 190 performances a year. So it's a big company and a big responsibility.
Yes, and Marie, you were not here for the first time. I should say welcome back to you, because you have done Firebird here before, and then also Ponte Mølle. Yeah, and you come from Denmark.
Yes, I'm Danish.
Yes, and you work with both ballet and opera and theater and film. So how did you meet? Was it Nicolas Le Riche, our artistic manager?
Yeah, it was.
Yes,
indeed.
he put you together.
Yes.
Yes. So Le Corsaire, we have never produced the full ballet here at our company. It's a classical ballet from the 1850s. So when did you first come in contact with this ballet?
In fact, I never danced this ballet because it wasn't in the repertoire of Paris Opera Ballet. But I saw, when I was young, I saw the Mariinsky Theater with like almost the original version of the ballet. And a few years ago, Eleonora Bagnato, who is the director of Opera de Rome, asked me if I was interested about working in Le Corsaire and to do a new version. And when I saw the ballet the first time, I saw that there were a lot of magic moments inside, a beautiful moment, but the story was really complicated. It was so long, or a 3-act ballet, almost 3 hours. So I thought that for the audience today, it was necessary to to find a way to talk about this story of pirates, but in another way. So I decided to speak about the love story between Conrad and Medora, and I built my ballet around these two characters. So it's a shorter ballet, it's 2-act production, and with a new dynamic.
Yeah, that's good. We like shorter.
No, but I really think that now for the audience today, our life is different, and we are switching things, seeing different things. So we are concentrate for a moment in something. So it's necessary to have a good rhythm. It's really important.
Yeah. So the story is about Medora. I mean, in very general, as you say, it's a very complicated plot.
Yeah.
So we shall not try to explain the whole plot. But it's about Medora and the pirate Conrad, because Le Corsaire means the pirate.
Yeah.
And it's a love story. She's captured, and then she's also sold to a pasha, and then she's rescued by Conrad.
Yes.
And then it's a lot of sort of captured again and rescued and so forth. But you have created some beautiful scenes. You know, the visual. The pictures are so beautiful that you have created. So maybe we could not tell the whole story, but perhaps describe the different scenes that you have created. Could you tell us a bit about that?
First scene is the bazaar, and in maybe contrast to classical ballet, normally I was trying very much to create a sort of realistic, I wouldn't call it, but a fairy tale environment where the atmosphere was there very much of you know, that they are selling things, and you have the carpets there, and that they are in a balance between classical ballet painting and real stuff in that scene. Then we go on. It's an open, warm scene too, and we go on into the parrot cave, And there I work with the verticals because I work with the sort of rounded shapes in the first bazaar. Then I go to the cliffs, which are vertical. And I was very much interested in making a dynamic which related to young people today. So I had thoughts of Pirates of the Caribbean costumes. So we have actually pirates, and they are having an attitude which is slightly different from when we do classical ballet costumes, maybe. And then we go on to the harem, it used to be called, but it's a palace. And the palace, when you think about sort of Turkish paintings, or it wasn't Turks that were painting, but it was the sort of Oriental painters in Europe who came down there. They are all enclosed environments. You kept your women indoors. And so I decided to work very much in a graphic way, in a dark way, where you then expose the guests and the party members of the palace as a contrast to this sensual, dark place. And it goes with the music also. It's sort of like, that was what I was trying very much to do. And then we go into a magic dream, a magic garden, and then I sort of do different colors, and we have the ballet tradition with the ballet girls and in light pink and in a light way, not I would say so. So it's
classical.
And then at the end we end up having a return to the cave, and we have a return further on to we don't know yet. It's a secret in a way, because it's the audience who has to choose.
Yes, that's a new...
I think that it's the first time for a classical ballet that the audience had a real interaction, because in the intermission the audience will decide about the future of Medora. We wanted to talk about freedom, so Medora will be free, and they will have 3 different endings, and the audience will choose how the ballet finish. That will be even a little bit fun for the dancers, because they will need to wait until the end of the intermission to see which ending are they doing.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the different endings here? Yeah.
Yes, sure.
The three alternatives.
See, so the first one is that Medora could continue living his love story with Conrad, because he saved her, and they meet from the beginning. That is, like, we can say the normal one, or the one who is always done. But we were speaking about Medora looking for freedom to new adventures. So maybe she will not escape, but she will go with Ali through new adventures to have a different life.
And who is Ali?
Ali is like a kind of servant of Conrad. He was captive at the beginning, but he's like traveling with the pirates. So he's the best friend of Ali, of Conrad. Ali is the best friend of Conrad.
Yes.
And the third possibility, if is Medora choose we call that security, protection, and if she wants to go back with the Pasha, so to live in the palace, with a lot of
servants and
another kind of life.
Yes.
So in fact, it's the love, freedom, or protection and security.
Okay. So that will be interesting to see.
For me, that's really interesting. I personally think that the audience will choose the first or second option, and not the Pasha ones. But we never know.
No.
I think that will be interesting to see. Like, it's all the shows is the same. And who is chosen or not.
Of course, the most famous theme from this ballet is this pas de deux, or sometimes also pas de trois. And it was Rudolf Nureyev who did this Le Corsaire, fantastic.
But you know, this thing that normally it was a pas de deux or a pas de trois gave me the idea of the different endings. Because when it's a pas de trois, it's Conrad, Medora, and Ali.
Yes.
So there are 3 of them dancing, though after this moment, everything could happen. So it's the key of the ballet.
It's a good idea, because Ali is dancing so fantastically this. So you can feel that maybe Medora should choose him. Well, yeah.
May I add?
Yes.
I also think it's lovely that from having a story based on the idea that a woman can be bought or taken by a man, now we end having her choosing a man,
Really important.
whichever man she chooses, that's her choice, or the audience. But it's a lovely twist.
Yeah, and that was actually your answering my next question, because with all these, captures and how exactly how the women are treated, it's not politically correct today, all in this story. But you have already answered now how you have changed it. You have also changed it in the first scene, because you have male dancers also among the captives. Yes. So
we thought that it was important to show that does exist in the past. Now it's not the same thing, but at the same time it's a fairy tale. So we can talk about this thing in another way. It's a classical ballet, but it was important to put some male dancers inside, because this is not just men selling women. We are selling captive in the market. It's not the same meaning.
Yeah.
I also think the charm is that this is Lord Byron's bestseller of 17 Whatnot, which was a European big success. And a poem apparently of 100 pages, and I think there's a certain respect in terms of sort of saying there is a classical tradition and there's also within the story, so we cannot just change everything. We have to keep maintaining a respect for that piece as it is, but at the same time also say, it's not our attitude today that you just sell your women or something like that. That would be horrid.
Yeah, exactly. But there are a lot of classics and this is from the 1850s, and of course a lot of things have changed in the world today. But we still want to see these classics. But you have, I understand now also from what I've seen in rehearsals, you have sort of a new take, a more modern take of this very classical story. Yeah. And if we should talk a little bit about the music, the music is by Adolphe Adam, and then also you have
some other composers.
Yes, exactly, because there have been so many
versions. There are a lot,
and the original choreography is by Marius Petipa. Exactly.
But the first one in Paris was by Joseph Mazilier.
Yeah.
But we don't know nothing about this one. The one that we know is from Marius Petipa.
So how much is José Martinez in this?
Oh, there are a lot of things. in fact, I took some part of the Magic Garden. I took this pas de deux, who is a pas de trois, some variation of the odalisque, the pas de deux from Gulnara and Lanquedem, some iconic moment. I thought that it was important, to be respectful with the tradition. So it was important to have some part of Marius Petipa inside, but all the rest is from me, and I even the music is different. I had some part from Léo Delibes, because I wanted to develop this love story between Conrad and Medora, so it was necessary to find other colors of music to put inside these feelings. So I had extra music and I cut it a bit. I work a lot with Maestro Alexei Balkan, who will be the orchestra pit, and we worked together for a long time before to decide how to give the good rhythm to the ballet.
Yeah. And what, if you could say something about the dancing here and the dancers, because all dancers, I think, is involved in this, and there are many different scenes. I mean, you have these solo parts and some very virtuose parts, but also character dances with the ensemble. So, what demands what dances do you need to make a production like this?
To dance a Corsaire, in fact, it's quite difficult, because the virtuosity is there for all the variation, but at the same time you need to explain this complicated story in a simple way with your body, and you have all this mix between the really classical steps with all the character dance and some more contemporary movement. And in fact, I am also asking them to dance in a very contemporary way, because I don't like when classical ballet is too stiff So I am asking them to move the torso like if they were doing a contemporary piece, but all the legs are walking as a classical.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's really difficult. I need to say that the experience the dancers had with different choreographers here in the company helped them a lot to do a twist on all these classical movements.
Mm-hmm. And the costumes, have you been sort of looking at the different characters and what they are going to dance? Have you adjusted the costumes accordingly, or I mean, if it's very virtuoso?
Of course, you do have to adjust.
Yeah.
But my base is always the character and the story, the fairy tale, and to go as forth to meet that the most I can. And then, for instance, we have the silk buyers, and you fall in love with these lovely dresses we've made, and then at night, before I go to bed, I say, oh, they are dancing like that, it'll never work. Oh. And then I tell José, and he says, oh, don't you worry, we tried, we can always shorten. Yeah. And that's the very positive way to be met, that we try, and it turned out that it looked lovely. Yeah. So in that respect, I'm pushing the ballet costume a little than normally, possibly, and at the same time we are gaining possibly a more modern version than other productions I've seen. Yeah.
Okay, my last question: what do you hope the audience will feel, and what do you want them to get when they meet this sort of modernized classic? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I will. Yeah, the good thing will be if they go into the boat with the pirates and they spend like 1 hour and a half traveling with them. Yeah. Like they forget everything else and they are here with us following this story.
Yes, it's that we grab them by the heart and they follow.
Thank you so much. We're looking forward to the premiere. Thank you.
Thank you.